Professor Pip, where are you? Professor Pip? Professor Pip? Are you around here anywhere, Professor Pip? What's this? Dear Prop Master Mark, your dice tower is too noisy, so I had the Game Academy create a felt-covered dice tray instead for you to use in your gaming. Please do this, it's hurting my sensitive ears. Signed, Professor Pip. Well, I guess we know what we're building today, guys. It's going to be a dice tray. Alrighty, let's get ready to build the dice tray. We will be taking everything out of the box. I also suggest getting a pair of scissors on standby. It's always good to have, and there may be a trick or two that I'm going to show you with those. But the first thing is to take a look at everything that we've got in the box, shall we? Alright, so we've got ourselves a large square piece of felt. We've got a small square piece of felt. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, there should probably be a fourth, there we go, four strips of felt. We've got ourselves a back to the board. We've got a sideboard and another sideboard. Put those over there. We've got some sandpaper. And we've got ourselves a box, or tray actually, and a bottle of glue. This is always fun. Alright, I'm going to put this box to the side, but I'm going to come back to it in a little bit, so don't throw it away. Now, the first thing is to get everything prepared to work on. Now, like the dice tower tray, with the laser carving of the wood, they put down a piece of tape, or a tape coating on the top of this to try and stop all of this burning that you're seeing here. So they put a piece of tape down on that. Let me get those out of the way. And you just have to peel that off slowly. Find a corner and start peeling. It may not come off all in one piece. That's fine. We'll just have to work it around. Now, the tape is on both the front and the back of the wood. So you'll want to get both of those off if you plan to paint this. And it also just helps to make it look nicer anyway. Whether you paint it, or stain it, or ink it, whatever you would like to do with it. There we go. Now, these areas here in the corner, because of all the little squares that are on them right there, as you can see, all these little squares, also have tape. So you're going to have to take your thumbnail and just lightly scratch at it a little bit. And then you'll get that corner up like that there. And you can take off that little piece right there. Go ahead and take off these little pieces here. There we are. And that just takes them off that way. So, you can go ahead and prepare your pieces by pulling off the tape. And also, what I like to do when I get all the tape off is to take the sandpaper and give it a very quick sanding. So I already took it off of the back here, and all you do is just do a quick rub like this. You also want to make sure that you always have something on the table that you're working on the surface, especially when you're using glue, because it's a water-soluble glue. It's easy to clean up, but it's easier just to have a piece of tape or something disposable on the bottom that you're working on so that you don't get the table all dirty. So at this point, I'm going to be scraping this last piece off for about another 30 seconds or so, but feel free to pause this video while you go ahead and get the tape off of all of your pieces and give them a very light sanding. I'd also suggest giving the box a very light sanding as well. Doesn't have to be a lot. And then you can come back once all the pieces are ready and we can get started. Otherwise, you can sit here and listen to me babble a little bit more. There we go. One way to tell if you've missed any of the tape is that you look for the little, looks like it's burned on the wood. Well, then you've probably missed a piece of tape, because that's what this tape is here for, to try to protect the wood. Doesn't always protect it. As you can see up here, it actually got in there a bit. It's a little bit worked up, but if you see a little bit of discoloration, there's probably some tape in there. If you see a lot of discoloration, there's definitely some tape in there. Except for this part in here. This is nice and burned out. So we'll just continue to do this. Take my fingernail, get that off, just get that one off, so on and so forth. Yeah. Professor Pip is very upset with the sound that the Dice Tower makes, as I mentioned before. So he has decided to take a leave of absence till I've decided to make something that's a little bit quieter whenever I play my games. Which is fine. It's about time he went on sabbatical anyway. There we go. Alright, let me just get these little bits up here again. We'll just leave it at that. I don't know if that's actually tape up here. I can't seem to get that off. I think that's actually burned through wood, so it's okay. If you wanted to lighten it up, you just take some sandpaper. So I'm going to take some, I realize I've been pulling this towards me, sorry people. So when you've got like a bit of wood that's actually burned and it's not the tape, you can take the sandpaper and just give it a quick little rub like that. Cleans it right up. So again with these, you're going to go ahead and take your thumbnail, just give them a little scrape like that, get them off. Really wish Professor Pip would learn how to operate a camera. That would make my life so much easier. But, you know, he types 150 words a minute and he's great at math. I'm sure somebody will get the joke. Okay, come on you. I'm just about done here. I'm probably going to leave a couple of these pieces on because I can take them off after this is all completed. But I just want to show you the struggle that I'm going through, so when you are struggling with it as well, you do not have to worry. Everybody struggles through this stuff here. Okay. I'm a little worried about those little tips of the A's. Oh, hey. Yeah, they seem like they don't let... Seems like they're snapping off instead of removing the tape. So I just leave those on. Alright. Alrighty. So, like I said, I've already cheated and gotten these pieces ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to glue the big square piece of felt onto the back of this. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to grab a hold of this box again that we had here, and I'm going to cut right along the fold line here of the lip that's in, because I'm going to be using this to help spread the glue out. So I'm going to just cut it down about that far. And then I'm going to cut it off. Oh, I don't know if I can get this into there. But I'm going to cut it off like right about here. So I have a nice little hand-size piece of cardboard for use. So what we'll do is that we'll go ahead and spin, make a little spiral out of the glue. So we'll just take the glue here, go around it like this here. Doesn't have to be perfect or even look good. And we're also going to make sure that the sides are coated, so we're going to do, oh, well, this is why you have things on the table, because sometimes that might happen. Apparently the top just popped right off. So we'll go ahead and put that back on, and now I get to have a lot of fun playing in my glue. So I'm going to take this piece of the cardboard, and I'm just going to smooth all this glue out onto the wood like this here. Okay, I'm going to get a little more dab here. Boop, boop. Now do realize that your fingers are going to get sticky if you do this. So I would suggest if you don't explode your bottle like I did, don't use your fingers. Okay, so we got the glue on here, nice and thin. There we go. And now we'll go ahead and take this piece of felt. Hold on, I got to wipe off my fingers now because I've got glue all over them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick this down here. We're going to go corner to corner, just like that. There we go. Smooth it out. Okay, and then we're just going to press down on it like this here. Now, you might get some glue that, well, I definitely got some glue that fell over this way. What you want to do is that you want to take a wet cloth or even a damp sponge, and then you're just going to take it and wipe it off like this here. A little bit of water is not going to hurt anything. So you're just going to wipe the edges if there's anything leaning out over it. But there we go. Yuck. Okay. So there we go with that. Go ahead and clean this off. Now, if you wind up having a little bit extra leaning over the edges, you can trim them off if you want to. You see how there's just a little bit of green showing right there? I don't know if you can see it with the light, but there's a little bit of green showing right there. I could go ahead and I could just trim that off with the scissors. I'm not going to right now. That's going to be like the finishing part of it all. And maybe you won't make as many mistakes as I do, so you won't have to worry about it. All right, now, the next thing is to create the throwing space for this, because even though you have a tray to roll in, sometimes you'll still want to like throw the dice and they'll still bounce out. So that's what these three pieces are here for. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the Game Academy sign. Ugh. And we are going to put a little dab of glue right along this. Oh, sorry. We're going to take the Game Academy sign here. And we're going to move that out of the way. And we're going to put a little dab of glue right into this crack here. Into here. And into here. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and find number 1, because we want both of the carvings to be facing on the outside. And we're just going to stick that right in there like that. Okay. Stay. There we go. I'm going to move this to the side and let it dry for a moment. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let it dry around the box. That way I've got the angle that I'm going to need. There we go. Hey, look at that. That's smart. Okay. So we'll let that dry like that there. And now we're going to take the one that's on the 20. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to put a little bit of glue inside these cracks here, along the inside of the tabs, not on the top of the tabs. Alrighty. And then we're going to just go ahead and push that up against here. Get that put in. There we go. Alright. So we're going to eventually glue this to the box, but we're going to wait for this piece to dry first before we do that. Okay. Oops, it's falling apart a little bit here on you. Okay, I want to just move this box up a little bit more. There we go. Alrighty. Now for the inside of the box. The first piece that we're going to want to put down is a large square piece. So we're going to do the same thing again like we did on the back. Going to just do a little bit of spiral. Hopefully I'm not going to explode it all out again. You don't need a lot of glue to hold this down because it's not going to be like forcing anything. Go put a little bit all around the edge here. There we go. There's not going to be a lot of like tension on this trying to pull it out. We just want enough of it just so that it just stays in place. And then I'm going to take my little piece of cardboard again. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a smush. Just a little bit of a smush, so that it lies mostly flat. There we go. So there we go. We got a nice light coating of it. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put this piece in. All the way to the back. And down like that. Okay. There we go. Let's make sure that this is still holding nicely. All right. Okay. Now we will do the sides of the inside of it, and we will use these pieces. Now, it's going to be easier this time. Instead of trying to put the glue on the wood, we're actually going to put the glue on the felt itself. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to draw a line of glue along it. Come on. Most of my glue's over there at the moment, so there we go. Okay. Glue right along the line like that there. Okay. And then we will just take this piece of cardboard and we will just slide it along like this here. Okay. I'm noticing that the glue's really not getting to the top edge or the edges of this piece, and that's something you want to make sure you get a hold of, because that's the part that will start to fold away. Come on, glue. There we go. Okay. So let's go around and do the edges of these. So that's one. Go ahead and we'll just slide that down like that. There we go. And I'm going to put this one all the way up here first. Okay. That fits in just like that there. Alrighty. Okay. Do the same thing for the next 3 pieces. Come on. Draw a little box. Just draw a little outline of the piece like this here. You can actually touch the felt with the tip as you're doing this to get that little spread like that. And then take your little piece of cardboard and spread it out. There we go. We'll put this piece down here. There we go. All right, now time for the sides. It doesn't matter which side you use, really, so don't worry about using one side or the other. I'm going to do both of these at the same time so I don't have to keep waiting for the glue to come down to the bottom of this. So here we go. Let's get that up here so you guys can see it. Okay, here comes this one. Here we go with this. And then this one. Okay, we'll go ahead and, hey, look at this, I can do them both at once. So just hold those down, just like that to the edge. Alrighty, now we'll put these onto the side like this here. Okay, I got had a little glue up there, but that's all right. We'll go with that there. We'll put this one over here. Just down like that there. Alrighty. Let's stick that right into the corner. Perfect. Here we go. Oh, got a little bit of a bulge here. So it's bulging just a tiny bit. So I'm going to take my scissors and just barely snip off. I don't know if you can see how thin this is actually going to be. I'm just going to snip off the barest edge of it. You know, it's almost like as thin as a thread. But that'll give me just enough clearance to have it fit. There we go, see? And now let me remove this for the moment so you can actually see the way the box looks. So that's the, let me get rid of that piece, but that's basically the way the box looks. It's got the felt on all the sides. I notice I can see a little bit of wood there, so I'm just going to press my thumb down along it to try and get it down to the edge. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's taken care of. Now it's time to glue the back piece to it as well. So that's just going to require, and I believe that the back piece goes all the way down to the back edge. Okay, so that means 3, boy, this is a lot of glue this time around. So we'll go ahead and we'll put a line of glue right along the edges. Come here, you. Oops. That's okay, this will all get taken care of. Come on. There we go. Got that line there. Get this line here. Get this line here. There we go. Okay. Then we'll take the piece of cardboard and we'll just lightly draw it across. We've got more surface area. There we go. All right. Put it back down. And then, this piece came off. Glue's not quite dry yet. And then we'll go ahead and slide this into place. Press it in. And there you go. All right. Now, all we have to do is sit for a few minutes. I'd say about 15 minutes to let the glue dry. And we can go from there. Let's see here. Yeah, that's looking pretty darn good to me. All right, so I'll be back in 15 minutes after the glue's dried and get this thing all painted up. Now, if you're seeing that like these pieces are moving away a little bit, if you have some tape, you can use that to hold it in place. Also, you could use the tape that you've peeled off to actually hold it in place if you don't have any tape. So I can just take this here like this and use that to hold that piece in place. And then I got a piece that looks like the bottom edge of this is coming off. So I'll just put a piece of tape around that as well. There we go. Alrighty. And then I'll be back and show you how I'm going to go ahead and paint and stain this. Alright, so see you soon. Okay, I'm back now. It feels like that this is pretty well glued on. If it isn't, for whatever reason, feel free to just use a bead. Don't do the wiping down like I did with the cardboard, and just press this up again against it, and that way you'll have a little bit more glue in areas to try and hold it down nice and tight. And I'm going to go ahead and show you a washing technique that I use to stain the wood. Now, you can use brown if you want, but because all these decals have a nice brown color to it, I decided I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. And I'm going to paint mine purple. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take some purple paint, and this is just a lid from an old jar. You know, plastic cup, anything that has a little bit in it that you don't mind getting dirty. And I'm going to pour a little bit of my paint in here. This is some purple paint that I got. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to add to it about the same amount of water. I'm going to do about a 50-50 mix with this. So I got some water in this can here, and we're going to go ahead and add some water over on this side. We can just do it. You know, it's close enough. You want it to have about the consistency of milk, is what I've been told. But even just, you know, as long as it's nice and wet, you don't want it to be too thick or anything. As a matter of fact, I think that may be a little bit too thick as it is. Because what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get a little bit of that wood texture to come through when I do this. And that's one of the reasons why you also sand down the wood, is to make it work a little bit better that way. So we're going to do this side first. I'm not going to paint the whole thing, by the way. I'm just going to do a little bit of painting just to show you what it looks like. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to draw it across like this. And if you notice, we are getting a little bit of the wood texture to shine through on that. So there we go. Oops, I didn't want to get in there. The good thing is that if you do get it, just a little brush of sandpaper will clean that off. But I can see that I'm getting a little bit of that wood texture to come through, which is what I want. There we go. And that brown stays in there. If you get a big old glop, like if you'd seen there, you'd see how I got this big old glop of paint that's now stuck in there. Well, you just go ahead and you get your brush mostly dry, and then you can come back and just it right up. So there we go. Go back and forth this way a little bit. It gets a little bit of the wood texture in there, saves you some paint. Now, if you get a little paint on an area that you don't want painted, you can go ahead and you can take the sandpaper, just give it a little rub, and I'll take it right off. Or it'll spread it around, okay? Maybe wait till all the paint's dry before you do that. That might work a little bit better. I'm gonna go up. I don't really mind because I'm gonna plan to do something else for that other one. So we're gonna go like this here. All right, I think I could get the rest of this quickly done. So we'll just do this. I'm noticing my piece is wiggling a little bit, so I'm probably gonna have to go back with a stronger bead of glue to hold it down. There we go. Get all of this here. Go around the edges of it. Go. Alrighty. There we are. There we go. Alright. Nope, didn't really get that bottom too well, did I? Alright. Now, what I'm going to want to do for my actual, for the actual set of that is that I'm going to want to paint those red. I want those colors to be red. Again, this is totally up to you. You can use whatever color you want to use with it. But I'm going to use red for that center part. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this box again. I'm going to put it down right over here. And normally I would go ahead and paint the whole thing purple first, but I wanted, you know, I don't think you want to sit here watching me paint all day. So I'm going to take my box, and I'm going to just put a little bit of red on here. Again, if you have a paper plate or a plastic plate or a lovely little, you know, something personal that's used for painting, I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, that you put paint onto, but I can't. And I'm just going to paint this here, these colors. Again, so I'm actually not watering this one down because I want this to be a little bit more solid. I don't want the wood to come through as much on it. There we go, and I can just paint over this wash mistake without it showing through. Here we go. And then I'll just continue to paint the rest of the facets like that there. Again, have fun with it. You can use magic markers. You can use Indian ink if you want to. It's totally up to you. Although I will suggest that you wait for the first coat of paint to dry because you really can't see it too well there, but now I'm getting purple hand because I'm touching it. Anyway, that's it from the Games Workshop. I just wanted to let you know. Oh, I guess I should show you it working. So we'll go ahead and we'll put this down here. And so now, this was our tower project that we had done a couple of weeks ago. And let me just get that into here. Let me get rid of that water. Let me get this into range here. So it would go like this here, but it makes a lot of noise. So with this here instead, now Professor Pip won't get upset, and I can go ahead and I can just roll the dice, and it's a lot quieter. So there you go. You can also have the option of not gluing this thing to the wall, which probably I should have said at the beginning, but at the same time, it's, you know, I prefer that it's all in one piece. It'd be hard because this thing would wind up snapping or something like that. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of tonight, is finish painting this. So, see how that wood comes out? Yeah, I like that. So, again, on behalf of Professor Pip, this is Prop Master Mark, and you've been watching Games Academy Workshop. Have fun crafting.